Outlet Syndrome. This is recommended by Lindsay as far as something to talk about because it's something she's run into quite a bit actually in the clinic lately. So wanted to touch base on this as it is, again, something we see quite a bit, and it's not something that is diagnosed necessarily as thoracic outlet syndrome, but more symptoms, or patients will come in reporting these, and you kind of put it together cohesively as one of these symptoms. So let's pull this up first real quick. So big time thoracic outlet syndrome, people will come in and they'll say, hey, either my arm feels cold, or I'm having numbness, I'm having tingling, I am not having the same amount of strength, particularly with my arm in different positions. And those positions are when the nerve is tensioned. So a lot of times hanging down on by your side can cause tension with that, or especially if we're working overhead, can cause tension on or pressure on either the nerves going into the arm, the arteries, or the veins, or some combination thereof. All three of those, the nerve, artery, and vein, travel together as a unit in the same kind of general area. So a compression on that can lead to a multitude of different things. With the nerve, whichever nerve root is compressed, you'll see a distribution of that nerve in that where that nerve runs will start to get symptoms, either tingling, pain, burning, or complete lack of sensation. But usually that's a certain area of that. So for instance, the median nerve usually affects these three fingers. Compare that to more of an arterial issue that gets blood flow cut off. That's like falling asleep on your arm. That is specific to anywhere downstream of that artery, and you'll start to see the whole limb become either have paresthesia, altered sensation, or complete numbness or complete lack of function, as opposed to a specific area with the nerve. If the vein gets compressed, we see trouble returning blood back to the heart. And we might see abnormal swelling that might be diagnosed as lymphedema. We might see issues with swelling above what we call supraclavicular swelling, or swelling above the collarbone. And if that sits there, we actually run the risk of DVT, or deep vein thrombosis, or blood clots. That can be a problem as far as circulation, but then it can also get thrown and go to your lungs, causing a pulmonary embolism, which actually can be quite dangerous if not treated early. So nothing good can come of that. So let's take a peek at the thoracic outlet syndrome. And when we're looking at it, let's take a peek, see if I can do that. When we're looking at this, we've got our collarbone here. You've got your shoulder, and you've got your first couple ribs here. And this up here would be the neck. And from there, you kind of see these things. The anterior scalene muscle, there's actually three of them: anterior, middle, and posterior. And they run from the front of your neck, kind of like a fan, to the different parts of the upper rib. And as you can see here, the nerve, artery, and vein run between the first and second one. And so first things that as a physical therapist that we might see is these scalenes, these front of your neck muscles might be really tight. And it's really commonly associated with poor breathing patterns. If we adopt an upper chest breathing pattern, these scalene muscles are main players in that upper chest breathing pattern. 10 to 20,000 breaths a day, that can cause tension and create compression on the nerve, artery, or vein. If they pull the rib up, then you can see there might be a compression between the collarbone and that first rib. And usually you might see some more of that vascular compression, the artery or the vein with that. As we continue to travel down, this muscle here is called your pec minor. And that pec minor, it also straddles the nerve, artery, and vein. And for the same reason the scalenes can get tight, it too is an accessory muscle of respiration. We'll try and pull those ribs up to create a vacuum for that chest breathing pattern. But it's also implicated in poor posture. With rounded shoulders, we can see dominance of this muscle and tension leading to compression on these structures and nerve or artery pain down the arm. As we get down into the arm, there's other places where muscles might contribute, but usually that's more of a nerve versus an arterial thing. So from a physical therapy standpoint, let's close this out really quick. There we go. From a physical therapy standpoint, we're going to be looking at kind of structurally, how are you put together? How is your posture? How is your breathing? Is your mid-back moving? Are your ribs moving? Because all that can implicate it. And then how tight are those muscles that surround those nerve, artery, and vein? We have lots of tools to get those loose, lots of ways to strengthen to help decrease tension on different areas and get things moving appropriately. But occasionally some people will have to go get surgery and actually have that first rib removed to take tension off a bit because congenitally they might have been predisposed to some of those things. So if you think you might have thoracic outlet syndrome, give us a call. We can figure it out. We'll sit you down with a free discovery visit. I'm kind of popping up on the screen here. That's a half-hour one-on-one to kind of chat with what's going on, and we kind of figure out, hey, are you appropriate for physical therapy, or do we need to go some other direction? So hope you guys have a great day. Hit us up in the comments or message us about that if you have any questions, and we'll catch you.